So I love repurposing content for two different reasons. Number one being quite obvious is that it saves you time in the content creation process. And number two is something that a lot of small business owners don't think about is that not everybody saw that piece of content the first time you posted it. So by repurposing, you are taking all that hard work, time, effort, and energy that you poured into that piece of content to bring it new life, to have more eyeballs potentially see it. And sometimes repurposing is easier said than done. So today I want to dive into 3 different tools that's going to help you repurpose your content. And that's going to be Canva, Later, and different AI tools. And I want to chat to you about how to use each one effectively. So first, I want to talk to you about using Canva to repurpose your content on the same platform. So obviously, Canva is the primary place that I use to create a ton of different graphics and photos and video content. Basically, anything I put out online, it's been in Canva at some point, or it has some type of component in there that I created inside of Canva. And now you might be wondering exactly how to use Canva to repurpose that content over and over again. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. Most of you are going to be familiar with using Canva to resize different pieces of content so that you can say, let's take an Instagram post that's in a square format and maybe make it horizontal for a LinkedIn banner. You might be comfortable with that resize feature inside of Canva, but I want to get you thinking about repurposing in a different way inside of Canva. There are a couple steps to this process. So number 1, you need to have some sort of organization and folder system inside of Canva. You can go about this in a couple of different ways. Personally though, I recommend that you have an entire folder dedicated to your social media content. You can literally label it social media. And then you can have a subfolder for the year. So we're in 2024, have a subfolder for 2024 social media content. And then within that folder, create subfolders for each and every month. And you can label them 1 to 12. So what this is going to look like is 01.January, 02.February, and so on. You get the point. So that within each of those subfolders, I'm creating all of the content that I need for that month. So within the 01.January folder, I'll put an Instagram post design, and all of my Instagram posts for that month will be in there. Same with Reels or TikTok or LinkedIn or anything else that I create in that month will be inside of that folder. And so it might seem silly at first to have to go this in depth with organizing your content, but it's going to help us in step 2 where we actually go to repurpose content. Organization and building some kind of workflow or system is going to be key in helping you navigate through Canva and all the content that you create and being able to use it later on down the line. So for instance, maybe I go back and look at my analytics and I know that in June of 2023, I created one of my most viral carousels ever. And I know that in January, I'm going on vacation next week and I want to repurpose a bunch of different content. Now, what I can do is I can go back into Canva in June of 2023, find that exact carousel, and bring that over into my new design for January of 2024 and repurpose that content once again. So by taking it from one design, putting it into a new one, you can either just keep it as is, or you can kind of refine it, add a couple more details, maybe have a new call to action, but that is such an easy way to take a piece of content that you already created quite a bit of time ago, or maybe it was even last month, and get it pushed out again on that same platform. And the last part of this process that I really want you to build a routine around is any piece of content that you create, whether it's on your mobile phone, if it's outside of Canva, bring it into Canva. So if you're creating a TikTok inside the TikTok app, make sure you download it and save it to your phone so that you can then upload it somewhere into Canva. Again, my recommendation would be in that January folder. Let's say you posted a TikTok on January 17th. Save it in that folder somewhere. You can save it in a design. You can add the video just into that folder. But by doing so, it's going to make repurposing later on down the line so much easier. And I'm going to quickly show you exactly how to go through all of these steps inside of Canva. Okay, so what this is going to look like inside of Canva, in your folder section, this is how I want you to start to organize your content. I obviously have mine labeled and have a bunch of different folders, but you should have a social media folder. And then you can see here, like here you can see my previous year's worth of content, but I actually pin the 2024 one to the top, and it's as simple as clicking those 3 dots and you pin it to the folder. But once you're inside of here, you're going to see every single month. And the reason why I do this is any content that I create needs to be in this folder somewhere. So we'll go to January, and what you can see here is Instagram post, Instagram reels and covers, LinkedIn article banner, whatever. One of the biggest things that I recommend you do if you're creating content on your phone for TikTok or reels or anything like that, it always needs to be uploaded into that design. So what this might look like for Instagram reels, like let's say I created one on my phone, it is still in here. I have all the covers associated and things like that. Let me show you how this works for TikTok. So I basically, before I post my TikToks, I download them without the watermark and with the edits. So these are 3 TikToks that I need to get into January's TikTok videos. So those are all uploaded into here. And basically what I do is I click over. Let's set this video as the background. We can shorten this here. We'll add another. We'll do the same thing, set the video as background and repeat the process. So once that is all said and done, I like to make this big. And I list when these went out. So January 3rd, whatever the day is, January 4th. So that when I am going to repurpose this content potentially later on down the line, and I look at analytics and I say, okay, this one was posted on January 4th, 2024. I can easily come in here and repurpose it. Now, one other thing that you can do that I want to quickly show you is come into the app section here. You can go to Instagram. And there is actually an Instagram integration. You connect this and you can pull Instagram content from here. There's no easy way to do this with TikTok, but let's say you posted a reel and you want to repurpose, you can do the same thing here. But that's just a quick little walkthrough of how you're repurposing content through organizing your Canva. So that is how you use Canva to repurpose content on the same platform later on down the line. Now I want to dive into how you can repurpose content across multiple different channels using Later. And if you aren't familiar with Later, it is actually a social media scheduling tool, and it's my preferred social media scheduling tool for a lot of different reasons, but mainly because it allows me to effectively repurpose content on multiple different platforms. I can upload a piece of media or a piece of content one time and simply click a couple of buttons and have it go out on multiple different platforms, while also allowing me to customize that piece of content specifically for each platform, because we know that it's sometimes different platform to platform based on sizing or hashtags or caption requirements. And Later allows me to do that like super easy. To give you a quick example here, I tend to pull a lot of different short form video clips directly from my YouTube videos. And initially, I just wanted to put them out as reels. Again, that's a way of repurposing. But I realized that a lot of that short form content can also be put out in other places. Typically, those videos are under 60 seconds, so I will upload it into Later and make sure that that specific video goes out on Reels, it can go out on TikTok, it can go out on YouTube Shorts. This also works for images or any other kind of media that you have. So sometimes I will upload a singular graphic and make sure that it goes out on Instagram, make sure that it goes out on LinkedIn. And in order to do this effectively, Later has a couple of different tools that's going to allow you to customize that one piece of content to fit across multiple platforms. So after you drag and drop that piece of content into Later as a media, is what they call it, then you can bring it over into your calendar, select the different social media platforms you want, and then from there, you can crop in certain images, you can trim the videos to fit specific platforms. Like for instance, YouTube Shorts only allows a 60-second video versus something like TikTok or Reels, it allows a longer video. Your caption on TikTok is going to be significantly shorter versus Instagram, you have a lot more room to add hashtags and a longer caption. All of that you can customize within Later and then set it to auto-publish, meaning it gets posted on your behalf. And the reason why I use Later for this is it's really just upload it once, customize it a couple of different times, and then it gets posted for you. And also with Later, once that media is uploaded, it is in your content library. They have a whole section where you can sort and filter and tag to allow for even more repurposing down the line, so that now that that media is in there, you can schedule it a month, 2 months, 3 months down the line, or repurpose it when you see fit. Now let's dive into Later. I'm going to show you quickly how to do this. And now inside of Later, I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can repurpose your content. So let's say I'm wanting to post this particular video on Instagram. Let's do it on TikTok, and we'll do it on YouTube Shorts. So you're going to want to click all 3 of the platforms up here. Then we're going to take this and let's say we want it to go out at 11 a.m. on Tuesday the 6th. So drag and drop it. You can write your generic caption here as a starting point. But then what you're going to see is you're going to customize the 3 posts. So for Instagram, let's say we want this to auto-publish. We can go even deeper. We can add in our hashtags. You can go you add location, tag people, things like that, making sure it's set to our profile grid. I can also with Instagram select a video frame for the cover. I can use a custom image. So let's say I had a custom cover for it. It'll make sure that it gets posted for me. Then with TikTok here, you're going to have a shorter caption. So we necessarily, like if I go to add all these hashtags, there's way too many. So we might have to kind of customize this a little bit more. You can allow duets. You can allow stitches. You can come in and edit the video. If you want to crop it a little differently, obviously I would just leave this one for TikTok. That's totally fine. And then for like YouTube Shorts, you're going to no, it's not made for kids. Visibility needs to be public. Let's say this one's a little too long for Shorts. Shorts only allow 60 seconds. Pretend this was more than 60 seconds. You can trim the video. Click Update. Again, there's so many different things you can do. And so this one here, we need to enter a title, goes here. Save them as drafts, or you can schedule them. And remember, these are all set to auto-publish. You are more than welcome to set them to send notification, meaning you're going to get a push notification on your phone to go and schedule it or to go and publish them manually. But now you can see that they are all here, scheduled, ready to go. You can do the same thing with, like, let's say it's a graphic. So we want it to go on Instagram, not TikTok. We want it to go on LinkedIn. Maybe you have Pinterest, Facebook, or Twitter. You're more than welcome to select those. I don't personally promote my content there. But then we can go and grab, let's just say this is a graphic, and then same process, customize the 2 posts, and you run through that again. Schedule those 2 posts, and we are good to go there. Now what you can do is if you're wanting to see all of that content, you can see it here. You can see it in a month view. You can see it in a list view, things like that. So that's just a quick and easy way to repurpose your content using Later. Okay, so we've learned how to repurpose content in Canva on the same platform, repurpose content on multiple platforms inside of Later, and now I want to talk to you guys about using AI tools to take a piece of content and repurpose it into a new format. There are a ton of different AI tools out there that you can use. ChatGPT and Claude are my 2 favorite chat style AI tools where you can have a conversation with it. Latte Social and Munch are great for repurposing your videos. It helps you kind of identify different clips from longer form content to then splice up and put out again and like repurpose. But lately I have been playing around with, and honestly love so much, a new social media tool called Castmagic. Over the last couple of months, it is a tool that I simply cannot live without. Before I go even further, there's a couple things I want you to know about AI tools here. Number 1, there are free versions of all of these tools, but I find the most benefit when it comes to repurposing content is if you do upgrade and pay for some of the more advanced features. Number 2, where I've found the most success in repurposing content using AI tools is to give the tool a long form piece of content. By giving it great input, it's going to give you a much better output. And by starting with your thoughts, your words, and your ideas as a video, as a blog post, as a podcast, is only going to help in the repurposing process using some of these tools. And then number 3, do not rely heavily on the information that it gives to you. You can use it as a framework, as a first draft, but please know that anything that I've ever gotten from an AI tool, it requires quite a bit of tweaking. Or sometimes the output that it gives me sparks an idea for some other piece of content that I'm going to create, and I don't necessarily use it in its entirety. With those caveats in mind, I do want to dive into some of the benefits of using a tool like Castmagic. Over the last year, I really played around with ChatGPT and Claude, these chat-based tools, to prompt it to kind of help me repurpose my content. So it would still save me time, but it would also be time consuming. I'd have to give these tools my long form piece of content and then have a chat with them back and forth. Like, hey, can you break this down into 5 LinkedIn posts? Okay, that doesn't quite sound like me. Here, change the tone. And I would have to go through probably a 30-minute to an hour-long process for it to help me repurpose that initial piece of long-form content. Whereas with Castmagic, I can give it my entire transcript. I have given it all of my custom prompts. And when I upload that transcript, it runs all my prompts for me, and in a couple of minutes, what used to take me an hour is given to me so quickly with Castmagic. All at once, it repurposes that main transcript from my YouTube videos and puts it out as different Instagram posts, different carousels. It does everything from my show notes through to my YouTube descriptions, the first draft of my newsletter, and it does it all within a couple of minutes. Now, one other caveat is I have taken the time to really set up Castmagic with my custom prompts. I've done a lot of different testing so that I get a better output. I don't necessarily use all their generic prompts that they have in their system, but I really give it specific instructions so that I can get a proper output, and that's how it saves me time. If you decide to use Castmagic or any one of these other tools, just know that these tools work best when you give it that long form piece of content to break down and repurpose across multiple platforms. And I want to quickly show you a little behind the scenes of what Castmagic does for my content. So now coming into Castmagic, you're going to see all of my different recordings here. And basically what I like to do is you can import audio or video. I personally like to export just the audio version from Descript once I'm done editing it, and you can upload it. You can also grab them from a bunch of different places. And the one thing that I want you to know before we get into what this looks like, I have custom prompts set up. These are ones that I have noticed work really well for me. So just know that this is going to require a little bit of customization. You can explore their community prompts, meaning these are prompts that other people have submitted, and this is how you would create your new prompt, giving it a content sample, telling it exactly what you want it to do as an AI tool. So coming into recordings right here, you can see once it's been uploaded and rendered, this is the view that you're going to get. This is the entire transcript. This is everything I said in that video or podcast. And, this is just a way to view it all. Now, here's where the magic happens is the AI content. You remember those prompts that I gave it? This is where I no longer have to have that conversation with an AI chat tool. I used to copy and paste those questions or have a conversation with it. It would take a long time. But now it does it all for me. And this is a great starting point for my content repurposing. There's a lot of great ideas in here. TikTok video ideas, LinkedIn written posts. You can see the list goes on and on and on. And there is still a functionality in here. I don't need to leave Castmagic if I'm wanting to brainstorm a little bit more. I can just have a general chat with it like you would in a Chat GPT or a Claude. You can even click here. They have prompts. Again, it takes some time to render. But I like Castmagic in that I don't have to sit there and manually have a conversation with AI to get it to repurpose my content. It does it all for me. Now that you know 3 different ways to reuse and repurpose your content and some of the tools that I use to kind of help me do it, I want to dive even deeper. In the description below, you guys are going to find my content repurposing guide, which is going to give you a walkthrough of all the different ways that you can maximize your efforts by taking one post and transforming it into another. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you next week.